What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Rustysfab Custom. Today, we're turning this pile of tubes into an exhaust for that hot rod. I'll see you under the car. Basically, sorry for the noise. That's the welder running. I don't want to crawl in and out of here 100 times. But maybe you can see the end of the header up there. Basically I gotta get from there back there. Simple as that. I've decided to run down the driver's side, mainly because there's already exhaust hangers on this side, so it would appear as though that's where the factory exhaust ran. So I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel on that. We'll be able to reuse some of the brackets that are here, and I'm gonna run a single muffler and just cross the passenger side over to the driver's side and merge them together. I'll link all the stuff that I bought in the description, but it's the same stuff I used on the S10. If you saw that video a while back with that, it had a good sound with that motor. This motor probably has no compression and no cam or nothing, so it should be nice and quiet. We are going to try and go over the axle and out behind the wheel, hopefully. Maybe, I don't know if I'm that qualified to do that, but we'll give it a shot. And yeah, hopefully by the end of the day we'll have an exhaust on this thing, and that'll be the last thing we got to do before we can try and fire this thing up next week. So come on.
Too much time at Earl's. No and jokes and all the boys better find themselves some girls. We're gonna pull back some cold ones and make a few new friends. We're gonna turn this into a rockin' joint again. Earl's what good as a greasy spoon. The chicken fried steak is so fine. Well, don't worry about them water bugs.
Okay. What is up, peoples? I'm multitasking because, you know, efficiency. I'm about to run out of welding wire, so that's good. I'm boogering this thing together. You should have seen in the time lapse probably that I got. Oh, that didn't sound great. I got pretty much got the driver's side kind of figured out, and I welded some of it out. I'll show you guys that after I'm done with this. I'm gonna try and weld what I can. Like I said, I'm probably gonna run out of welding wire. Don't screw it up. The internet is watching. Those of you that make fun of the welds that exhaust guys do, this is not as easy as you might think. I'm trying to weld as much as I can on the car so it still fits when I get done. That's the idea anyway. Something is going on with my welder, I just heard. Actually, a lot of things are going on. There's no real reason that I didn't get my good welder out to do this. Hindsight, probably should have, but you know, laziness strikes again. Oh, like I said, welding under the car is not a good time. Oh, come here, little guy. That poor little welder has been a part of my life for, God, 15 plus years, and it was a hand-me-down back then, so you can imagine how old that sucker is. Oh boy, it is not running good. I'm gonna do the right thing and keep trying to weld with it. Why are you so angry? Just gotta give her a little love. It'll be alright. Okay. What do we got going on here? Why won't you do the thing? Come on. Make me look dumb in front of all my friends. Okay, hopefully you guys can't see that weld. Pretty rough. Come on. Alright. This is my payback for you know, doing zero maintenance, probably. That sounds better. Nope. It's gone again. Whew. It's looking pretty rough. It is what it is. Ooh, doggy. Well, anyway, that's what I'm doing. Just booger welding this thing. Next step, I gotta pull this off and weld the top side, because especially with this thing not running worth a crap, I ain't gonna do it like this. I got this section welded up here and reinstalled. This section is reinstalled. As long as you don't look at the welds, it's pretty good. So obviously I gotta connect here and here, so I'm not gonna get too precise now. I haven't been too precise this whole time. So now if you're really worried about performance, you'd want to like bring this where it flows with the direction of the air and make it all, you know, smooth transition and all that. The 120 horsepower we have is not going to worry about a little bit of air restriction, pretty sure. So all I'm going to do is take a rough measurement here, which looks like about 9.5. Yeah, according to my calculated eyeballs, you can tell they're calculated because I got glasses. So 9.5. So we'll go to the table. I'll show you how I'm going to cut a piece for that, and we'll get that welded in, and then we can move on to the rear section. We're getting there. Okay, folks. Can you see? This is not rocket geometry here. We're gonna go to our 9.5. I'm gonna mark this a bunch of times around because even though I have a bandsaw, I'm being lazy, and I also have a cutoff wheel. So we'll just kind of do a bunch of marks. We'll probably have to do a little bit of fitting on this once we get in there. Before you freak out, yes, I am gonna make this have a little bit of a radius on it so it kind of matches the pipe, so we don't have massive gaps to fill. We're also gonna have to cut a hole in that other pipe. We'll get there. It's a process. That's good enough. We're just gonna connect the dots a little here. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. Oh, that's a big one. We're gonna guess. That's the middle. Okay. Now that we have that perfectly straight line, I'm gonna use the seam of the pipe as kind of a reference. And we're just gonna take another piece. Again, we're not gonna get too scientific here. It's just a crappy exhaust for a crappy old car that ain't gonna run worth a dang anyway. Now, like I said, if you're building something that makes some horsepower, I'm robbing myself of quite a bit, probably, or I would be if I had a motor that flowed. So don't do it like this. Simple solution, I guess. Again, you guys can't see, but I put that seam line basically straight down. That's what my eyeball said anyway. And we're just gonna throw a little radius on that. Honestly, that mark is probably way more aggressive than it actually needs to be. But we'll just, you know, kind of give her a little... She's got a little wave in her. Come out. Anyway, there's the mark. And I'm gonna do my best to cut that. And you guys can watch if you want to. Let me see. What are you guys seeing? Not what I'm doing. There. Well, there you have it. Even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while. Let's go under the car and see how it fits in there. That's where we find out that we cut it too short and I gotta do it all over again. Let's see how bad this is. Woo! Guys, I am not good at this, but Sometimes you just get lucky. We can also pull this over just a little. I ain't kidding you. That couldn't have gone any better. So, 100% chance something's gonna go horribly wrong today. That's just how my life goes. But I probably didn't bring my marker. No, of course not. Anyway, next step, I gotta trace around this and make a hole in that, and then we'll get this sucker welded in.
Put E5 on that jukebox man to hear a Rockamille Haley song. Will somebody put a pot of coffee on so we can rock all night long?
Okay, folks, I'm back. Got that all welded up there. The camera died, and it was a time lapse anyway. I was able to get it all welded in place, so that worked out pretty good. Now we gotta go in this area here. So, not gonna lie, took a little break, got a little uncrustable action so that I could kind of refuel a little. Little fun fact about Uncrustables: if you heat them in the microwave, or not the microwave, I'm an idiot. If you put them in the toaster oven, not the toaster oven, the toaster, whatever, you guys know what I mean. Anyway, take them out of the freezer, put them in the toaster, toast the outside, thaws the inside, makes them very nice. I eat like a child, so it's a pretty common snack for me. We're gonna see if we can't get this kind of eyeballed into place here. It's a little close to my... It's a little close to everything. I think something like this is gonna work. I fought a bunch of issues with my welder, and now the wind is blowing, so you know that always helps. I'm still fighting issues with my welder. It's fine. Just put a couple tacks on there, nothing crazy. Okay. That gets us, you guys probably can't see nothing, but that gets us close to our bracket. Another thing I discovered is I thought I had two exhaust hangers. Turns out one of them is not going to work, so that's unfortunate. The good news is it seems like this is working out pretty decent. The axle's basically at ride height because it's because the weight's on the axle itself, so we've got a pretty good amount of space there. Probably wouldn't hurt to have a little more, but I think it's gonna be fine. Let me put one more tack on this. Okay. Also, just discovered I got something in this is leaking, and there's brake fluid everywhere, so that's good. It's always what you want to see. I probably need to just remake those lines, but it's a project for another day. Currently, so I did a 45 at an angle out of the muffler. This is another 45, and it gives us a bunch of space here, and also kind of points us. We're gonna try and go, can you guys see? Probably not. We're gonna try and go out like right behind the, we're gonna try and go through here, I think. So I'm gonna go grab another piece of pipe and see what we gotta do to get that figured out, because currently I can still rotate this, kind of change our angle. This kit's really good. The only thing I will say, if you go to like a real exhaust shop, they could bend this up and you wouldn't have so many joints that needed to be welded. But if you're cheap like me, you can get these kits on Amazon. They go on sale pretty regular. I'll put the link to the one I bought. It seems to go on sale a couple times a year, and I try to pick one up when I can. And so I'm currently building off the leftovers from the last kit and a new kit, because I got it for like 150 bucks, I think. So it's good if you have the ability to weld and the time. Plus, you know, if you screw it up, it's your fault. Whereas somebody else screws it up, you got somebody to be mad at. So there's that. Let's see if almost looks like a straight might get us. Oh, that's gonna work out almost perfect, I think. I want to leave myself as much room as I can on everything. I think we need to put a couple tacks. I'm gonna pull that rear section out now, since we've done it in two pieces, and weld it up. When I'm doing this, I don't ever want to get too far ahead of myself. I try to do a couple pieces and then weld it and then keep going, because everything kind of moves around and you don't want to get the whole thing tacked up and then weld it all and then find out the whole thing doesn't fit. Because ask me how I know about that.
That will thank us in the end. We're gonna turn this into a rockin' joint again. Maybe I'll build a big bandstand, rock out with my band. Me just crooning out and picking out tunes that get that bass in hand. New buck back there slapping the skins, keeping that rhythm tight. Well, somebody put a pot of coffee on so we can rock all night.
I've been sitting here for a little while trying to figure out how I want the tip to come out. I don't know. After a bunch of consideration, I've got I've got like a 90. I could cut a tip out of that. I've got some U-bends. Realistically, I need to use some of these, but I've got like 3 or 4 of them. Those just never seem to make it on the exhaust for some reason. You know, because we like that high flow exhaust. Except for where we T-jointed into each other. That's fine. So this is kind of, I don't know if you guys can see, this is kind of where I'm at. You can see it's got plenty of room around all the components. Don't look at those welds back there. It's fine. And I gotta figure out how much I want this to stick out. I want to try and keep it pretty close to the body. This has got some play in it, so when I let go of it, it sags down a little. Happens to the best of us, okay? But a little sagging. What are you gonna say? Anyway, can I get you guys to see this and hold it? So I gotta figure out how much I want to take off of here. I'm not really 100% sure, to be honest. I don't want it to be up under the car, because the whole point of me running the exhaust all the way back here is when my daughter's in the car, I don't want a bunch of exhaust fumes in the car. Otherwise, I would have done what I do on everything else and just dump it in front of the axle. But I'm trying to be better, you know, trying to worry about the youngins, even though I'm pretty sure I rode in a bunch of stuff as a baby that the exhaust was dumped underneath. Dad? Pretty sure. Anyway, I think maybe somewhere in that region, that'll put it out from under the car, but it won't stick out too much. And I think from the top, you guys will have to let me know because I can't see while you're looking. I don't think it'll stick out the side. Maybe. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut that real quick. I'm actually gonna cut it off the other end because this has a manufactured edge on it, and that's gonna look better than my poorly cut end. So I'm gonna just measure that, and then I'll cut it off the other end, and there's some wiggle room, and then we'll get it tacked in place. It's the same process you've seen all day. I'm gonna get it tacked in place, pull that rear section back out, and weld this. It freaks me out. It freaks me out to weld. I could reach all the way around it, but it freaks me out to weld that close to the fuel filler neck. So I'm gonna tack it, pull it back out, just weld it, put it back in, and I'll probably go ahead and put gaskets and a hanger and all that stuff, and then I'll show you the finished finished product, I think is what I was trying to say. I'm kind of dumb, sorry. Did I get you? Hang on. Woo! So, be honest, I got at least 1 or 2 of you. Obviously this car doesn't run yet, but it will. Yeah, so I got the exhaust on done. it really needs a second hanger. You guys got a shot of what the tailpipe looks like. It doesn't move enough to contact anything, but it does move quite a bit. Let me see if I can show you this hanger. Hang on. This is the hanger I used. Honestly, I had it already, so I didn't want to spend any money. So it's gonna work. I really need to add a second one. I'm just not exactly sure where or what kind. I need to look at my options. I need to do a little online shopping. But it goes up. You can see we got, well, we got a couple inches there between the axle tube. It'll clearance itself if it needs to. We got our little single in, single out muffler. This is like 35 bucks on Amazon. You know me, I'm cheap. This joint actually works here, so I can pull this clamp off and this rear section will go in and out. I was a little worried about that, but obviously I was able to get it out and weld that tip piece on and get it back in, so pretty happy about that. This is probably, honestly, it's probably the best exhaust I've done. I've only done 3 or 4, but as far as like, you know, user friendliness, I'd say mailman's here. I would say it's the best one I've done. Now, obviously, you guys already know that crossover section, that's not really the way you want to do it in a high performance deal. I also forgot to mention, this is 2.5 inch exhaust. Those are 3-inch collectors, so I'll show you. We had to put a, you can see probably, maybe. We had to put a little reducer action on there. You know, if this was a, I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. If this was a high performance deal, this is not the way I would do the exhaust in it. But for a little family cruiser with a little wore out 283, it's gonna do perfectly fine. And my main thing is I want it to be as quiet as possible, which if we need to, we can go to a bigger muffler. We'll figure that out once we get it running. Yeah, I don't know, I ain't got much else to say. Next week we are gonna try and fire this deal up. I got I ordered everything to do like a complete ignition tune-up. I also got a carb rebuild kit. I'm on my second belt that doesn't fit, so I've really whiffed that deal. But usually by the third one I get it, because I usually go too big, too small, just right. You know, like what's that girl with the porridge or whatever? Yeah, I'm pretty much her. So that is it. I'm gonna clean up. My nice toolbox is covered in crap, and it has been for weeks because I've been jamming pretty hard on this thing. So I'm gonna get my mess cleaned up, and I gotta get this video edited because it goes to you tomorrow because I am behind. So anyway, thank you guys if you tuned in again. Try to not make this a crazy long video, but yeah, we're gonna fire this deal up next week. We're gonna try and fire this deal up next week. So thanks for watching, thanks for liking and subscribing and all that other stuff that everyone else says. See you next week.